Picture this. It is the absolute peak of a sweltering summer. Your home's air conditioning just broke down, and you are literally desperate for some relief. You walk into the kitchen, you look at your refrigerator, and a thought crosses your mind.
Can you cool the kitchen just by leaving the refrigerator door open? I mean, it's blowing freezing cold air inside, right? So shouldn't that cold air spill out and cool the whole room? It sounds completely logical. But tackling this exact point of student confusion is the absolute key to unlocking the physics of everyday cooling and heating.
So by the end of this lecture, you're going to understand exactly why that refrigerator trick doesn't work. We are covering three main things today. First, the concept. Second, the formula. And third, the real-world application.
Okay, part one, the backward heat engine. Let's jump right in. To understand a heat pump, you really have to realize it is fundamentally just a heat engine running in reverse. We all know heat naturally flows from hot to cold, right? Your hot coffee cools down in a chilly room. But a backward heat engine uses a work input, which we represent with a W, to force heat to transfer from a cold reservoir, QC, to a hot reservoir, QH. It's exactly like pumping water. Water naturally flows downhill, but if you want it to go uphill, you literally have to add a pump and use energy to force it up. A heat pump uses electrical work to force heat uphill, completely against its natural flow.
And the formula for this is super elegant. QH equals QC plus W. The heat delivered to the hot room, QH, is exactly equal to the heat taken from the cold outdoors, QC, plus the electrical work you used, W. You're basically gathering free heat from outside, adding the heat generated by your electrical compressor, and dumping all of that inside your house.
Moving on to part two, how heat pumps work.
Let's walk through the actual physical steps. How does a machine grab heat from freezing outside air to warm your living room? Well, inside the system is a working fluid. Step 1. The fluid goes through the evaporator coils outside. Even if it's freezing out there, this fluid is engineered to be even colder, so it absorbs heat from the outdoor air, that's our QC, and turns into a gas. Step 2. The compressor squeezes this gas. This takes electrical work, W, and dramatically spikes the gas's temperature. Step 3. This superhot gas moves to the condenser coils inside your house. Since it's way hotter than your room, it releases that heat, QH, warming your house up, and condenses back into a liquid. Finally, step 4, it passes through an expansion valve. This rapidly drops its pressure and temperature, getting it perfectly ready to head back outside and repeat the whole cycle.
Wait, hold on. Let's do a quick retention check right here because this is a really crucial point. What happens if we reverse the flow of that working fluid? What if the evaporator and condenser swap roles? Think about it for a second. If you grab heat from inside the house and dump it outside, you've just turned your heater into an air conditioner. It is literally the exact same machine, just running the cycle in the opposite direction.
All right, part three, coefficient of performance, or COP. So, how do we actually measure how well this machine is doing its job? We use the coefficient of performance for a heat pump, or COPH. This is simply a ratio of what you get over what you spend. COPH equals QH divided by W. The benefit you want is the heat in your house, QH. The cost you pay for on your electric bill is the work input for the compressor, W.
Now you might be wondering, and this is a classic student question, why is the COPH always greater than 1? Standard engine efficiency is always less than 1, so what gives? Well, think back to our formula. QH equals QC plus W. You are getting that outdoor heat, QC, for absolutely free. So the total heat delivered, QH, is always going to be larger than the electrical work, W, you had to put in. You are literally always getting more total heat out than the electricity you pay for.
To put that into perspective, in the real world, this number typically ranges from 2 to 4. That means for every single joule of electricity you pay to run the compressor, the heat pump is outputting 2 to 4 joules of heat right into your home. It's just a massive energy multiplier.
But here's another quick question to think about. If these things are so amazing, why do heat pumps struggle in really cold climates? Well, it all comes down to the temperature difference. The colder it gets outside, the steeper that hill becomes. The compressor has to work so much harder to force that heat all the way up into your warm house.
Let's actually prove this with a real example, just like a chalkboard physics problem. Say we want to find the best possible COP for a home heat pump. Our hot reservoir inside needs to be around 45 degrees Celsius to heat the room, so 318 Kelvin. Our cold reservoir outside is a freezing negative 15 degrees Celsius, that's 258 Kelvin. We can find the theoretical maximum COP by first finding the Carnot efficiency, which is just 1 minus the ratio of cold to hot temperatures in Kelvin. Then, because the COP is the exact inverse of efficiency, we calculate 1 divided by that efficiency.
And the result we get is 5.30. This is absolutely wild. It tells us that even at a freezing negative 15 degrees Celsius outside, a perfectly ideal heat pump outputs 5.3 times the energy you actually pay for. Now, real ones won't be quite that perfect because of friction and things like that, but it completely proves the incredible physics advantage of pumping heat rather than just burning fuel to create it.
Which brings us to part 4, air conditioners and refrigerators.
The physics machine is identical, but our human perspective shifts completely. When you're heating a home, your benefit is the hot air, QH. But when you're running an air conditioner or a fridge, your benefit is the cold air you are generating, specifically the heat you are removing, which is QC. In this cooling scenario, the hot air blowing out the back of the fridge or the AC unit outside, that's just annoying waste heat.
Because our goal changed, our formula changes too. The coefficient of performance for a refrigerator, COPF, is QC divided by W. Our benefit is now the heat removed from the cold space divided by the electrical work we paid to run the compressor.
And there is a beautiful, simple golden rule connecting the two. The COP of a refrigerator is exactly equal to the COP of a heat pump minus 1. This assumes they're operating between the exact same temperatures, of course. Why minus 1? Because remember, the heat pump gets to count the compressor's electrical work as bonus heat warming the room. The air conditioner just views that exact same compressor heat as pure waste.
Okay, part 5, real-world efficiency and Energy Stars. Let's bring this home.
You won't usually see COP on a bright yellow sticker at the appliance store. Instead, you'll see the Energy Efficiency Rating, or EER. It's essentially the exact same concept, benefit over cost, but using mixed consumer units. It measures cooling in British thermal units per hour, divided by electrical power in watts. So when you see appliances with 4 or 5 Energy Stars, or high EER numbers ranging from 6 to 12, it means they have a fantastic ratio. You might pay a bit more upfront for the machine itself, but your ongoing wall, your electricity cost, is going to be way cheaper over time.
So let's bring this all the way back to our starting hook. You are sweltering in the summer, you fling open the refrigerator door to cool the kitchen. Does it work? The answer is a resounding no. Why? Because the refrigerator is taking the heat from its interior, Q, adding the electrical heat from its own hard-working compressor, W, and dumping the combined total, QH, out of its exhaust fan right back into your kitchen. By leaving the door open, the compressor just runs non-stop, pumping more and more compressor heat into the room. You are literally heating your kitchen.
Let's quickly summarize what we learned. Heat pumps, ACs, and refrigerators are all backward heat engines. They force heat from cold to hot using electrical work. We measure their success using the coefficient of performance, the COP, which is always what you want divided by what you pay for. For heating, it's QH over W. For cooling, it's QC over W. Now, we've talked a lot today about forcing heat to do unnatural things, moving it from cold to hot against its will. But why does heat naturally flow from hot to cold in the first place? Why can't we perfectly reverse every process without losing some energy? That leads us straight into our next topic: entropy and the ultimate rulebook of the universe, the second law of thermodynamics. Join me next time to find out exactly why the universe